dokie, we shall take a look-see and see where we are. Nice. Streaming with myself, streaming with myself, streaming with myself, Hey guys, or hey guy, or okay, alright, music time. Here we go. Boom.
白岩学園3年 B 組の皆さん、こんにちは。
Well, good morning. How's it going? Let's see. Let's go to the main. There we are. All right. Hey guys, how's it going? It's a wicked hot freaking day and humid here in Los Angeles, and it sucks tremendously. It's okay, the briefest vlogging for just a moment. Yeah, it's so bad that like one of my neighbors, we had to take her to the, for some reason, I know a lot of elderly people, I have no idea why, and one of them, we had to take her to the hospital, so I'm gonna find out in a little while if she's okay. I should be getting a phone call, so if I sort of pop out for a moment, the likelihood is that I'm getting a phone call, and it's very likely verification that she's okay. when we went to the hospital, like her EKG was fine. I honestly think that it was like a combination of overexertion, dehydration, and a little bit of heat exhaustion. So, yeah, if you guys got any family, man, be freaking like elderly family. I mean, be careful. It doesn't take much to take it out of a person. So, at any rate, otherwise things are okay. So, just making mention if I do pop out, it's just, normal, as it turns out, life. So there you go. All right, now I was gonna talk about something, but I forgot what it was. Today's been a bit of a weird day for me. My little mission with the stickers was a success, and it was great fun. So I went all the way down to the Google offices, and I threw stickers all over the place. And I tried to hit places where I thought that the employees would go to eat, so I didn't hit the actual Google offices themselves. And when I hit up the stores, the locations for food, for eateries, I did not actually post any of the stickers on the businesses. One of my criteria is that I think it's okay to place the stickers on like city objects, but not on privately owned objects. So things like street signs or whatever, bus benches and so on. I'm completely fine with that. I have no problem with that. And the idea is just to hit places where I think that the employees would go, and they would probably see the little signs, and they would see things like, I thought I had one. I thought I printed one out and left it around, but I guess not. They were ridiculous slogans, something to the effect of, Alex Jones matters, his name is Alex Jones, we are Alex Jones, and let Alex Jones speak. Very simple things, and I think that it works, conceptually. You throw a bunch of these out, and then people, they see slightly different messages, and they all kind of self-reinforce. And last night I was speaking with Julian Groiper, I believe John Harris, and Faustian Spirit, and Charlene. Yes, that's right. I was only half awake at the time because I popped into a little conversation that they were having after I did my little mission, and I was only half conscious for it. And one of them, I want to say it was Julian Groiper, but I don't recall. He had a really good, oh hey, Jonathan Pohl, it's going down, buddy. He had a really good idea about it, which was that it's a good idea to mark territory. And the left, they have this concept about, getting out there and protesting and making their presence known and all that good jazz. And since we don't have the numbers, we do not have the numbers, what we can do is we can sticker bomb, or we can find alternate ways of, it was Julian Groiper, good, thank God, I actually do have a memory, outstanding, that's wonderful. We really ought to do what we can to find ways of simply marking our territory in one way or another, and simply indicating that A, we exist, and B, we're not going anywhere. It's okay to exist, it's okay to be us, in some peculiar way. Simply existing itself, simply being alive and not a communist, is in itself somehow becoming an act of defiance. Refusing to lay down and die is somehow becoming an act of quote-unquote resistance. It's really, really weird. And I think that my own way of dealing with this is reasonable, to simply go out and sticker. I was going to do it again tonight, but it's a little bit hot. I think I am also a little dehydrated, and I think that I didn't get enough sleep last night, so my little mission, while it was great, I'm still kind of recovering from earlier this year. I had a major health issue pop up, and I'm getting there, but because I'm now 40 years old, recovery is not quite what it used to be. I think I would have popped right back. I think I would have bounced back within a couple of months, back in my 20s and even into my early 30s. I think it would have been just fine. But here I am, like smack in the middle of freaking middle age, and running around, freaking, 2 o'clock in the morning like an idiot. Like, oh my God, the next morning I'm just dying. It's terrible. And of course, while I was out in the area where Google is, I was confronted with the very bleak reality. And the bleak reality is that they have a rank homeless problem right there in the middle of flipping Google studios or offices or whatever. And it's really depressing. So I was running around and I was avoiding like homeless people that were just up and out and wandering. And I think they were coming down off of whatever high they were on earlier because they were just out of it, and it was weird and it was uncomfortable to be around. So yeah, anyway, it was a very surreal experience, like a very weird experience. The yeah, actually that's okay. So just a touch more vlogging, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go on to my first track of the evening. Yeah, right around the corner from me, there was that homeless camp, and I think I'd made mention that there's a shooting over there just the other day. Interestingly, while I was in the middle of streaming, I didn't hear the actual shots, but I do happen to know that it was very likely while I was streaming. And earlier today, I went to, roughly speaking, that area. And much to my surprise, I actually saw a drug deal, not the exchange itself, but I was at a local burger joint, just picking up a burger because that's what burgers do. They eat burgers. I may be half leaf, but I live in Burgerland and I like burgers. That's just the way that it works. Anyway, while I was there, a car, a sport utility vehicle, pulled up into the parking lot, and the guy who was driving got out, left it running, got out, looked into the burger shop as he did. So like he drove up to the burger shop and parked in the burger shop's parking slot, got out, looked inside the burger shop for whatever reason, left the car running, and then went around the corner to the homeless camp and left someone in the passenger seat who was clearly texting on their phone. And it was just like, what's going on. You put two and two together. It doesn't take anything at all. So yeah, it's quite weird. Apparently Google Studios, they got a horrible homeless problem. Right around me, got a horrible homeless problem, including drugs. I mean, LA's getting weird, man. Oh, that's right. And of course, when I went to go and take my elderly neighbor to the hospital, of course I did a quick census of the population, the demographics there in the waiting room for the emergency room. I was one of 2 white people there, and the other one was a nurse. It's, yeah, LA is, we're going headlong into it, man. We are going headlong into it. This is not a joke. Okay, that's gonna be it for the oh yeah, San Fran has a pretty bad one. Oh, and I was talking to a guy earlier. I guess I probably did not make mention of this, but I was going to at the time. This is a couple days ago. He was saying that he went to Olympia, Washington, and I made a joke about how he could go and pick up meth or whatever he wanted right there, and he looked at me and he was like, yes, actually you can. As it turns out, way back in the day, I went to Olympia, Washington, and way back when, it was pristine and gorgeous. It was dew fresh, lovely. And now they have a homeless problem that this guy described as being rival of what I experienced out in downtown Los Angeles. So it's apparently this problem is any given major leftist city, you're going to have a horrible homeless problem. There will be drugs all over the street, and there will be cleanup crews that are required to have hazmat suits in order to clean up the literal human filth. And I don't mean the human beings, I mean the filth that they leave behind. There is an actual film that they leave behind, and you have to protect yourself from that film. It's bad. It's really, really freaking bad. We've got to... Something needs to be done. That's all I'm saying. Something needs to be done. and I don't know what it is. Anyway, oh, hey, it's Elaine Sabatino. What's going down, buddy? Okay, before I play the first track of the evening, I'm just going to go ahead and check into chat and look for the ats, because there's 1 or 5. So I'm going to go ahead and see what the ats look like. Anarchist Trucker Chick says, very nice of you to help her out. Hey, man, you got to be a good neighbor. If you're not a good neighbor, then what is there? As far as I'm concerned, you have to. Period. End of story. And I like her. She's nice to me, and that's all I freaking care about. So there you go. At any rate, let's see here. Julian Goiper, yes, territory. That was your idea, and it's an outstanding idea, and we do need to be thinking about that very cleanly. And I think that's the marking of territory would also be a good thing with regards to things like drug dealers, homeless population, so on and so forth. If they understood that there were right-wing people in the neighborhood who would be looking out for safety, I don't know, maybe they would mute themselves, maybe they would cool off, maybe they would back off, maybe they wouldn't be so brazen. I don't know. But I think that marking territory is good. Okay, moving on. Jonathan Pohl says, the left abandoned issues of class and poverty for a purely racial and gender sexual orientation framework a long time ago. I completely concur. And it's unfortunate. It's bad. It's really bad. I actually get called out. I don't know what that means anymore. But every so often I get called out for being a white male here in Los Angeles. It's weird. Okay. Anarchist Chick says, I have seen the tent cities from Oregon to Los Angeles while trucking. Camps all along the interstates. It's terrible. Yes, it is. And I went past 2 of them on my way home from the hospital. I mean, I didn't even go through downtown Los Angeles, and I went through 2 distinct homeless encampments, and I'm pretty sure that I passed through a couple of other minor ones as well. Like 1 or 2 tents here and there or something. I mean, it's bad. It's really, really bad. It's not good. We're overdue for a cleaning of house. I don't want to sound too black-pilled on that. I'm just saying it's pretty freaking bad. Okay. Anarchist Trucker Chick says again, the left finds the homeless and the homelessness to be endearing. Yeah, I don't like it though. I know what you mean, and I actually do know what you mean. I find that there's this weird thing where leftists, they'll see the dirt in the ground and they'll be like, yeah, man, look at this funky, neighborhood. I like it. It's dangerous. It's real or something. And they treat it like a fucking tourist activity or something. It's horrible. And they have no idea what they're doing. And they always go back to their freaking houses where they're safe and they have, armed security guards or whatever. It's reprehensible. These people should have collars attached around their necks. They should have chains attached to poles, and they should be forced to live in the areas that they create with water bowls and food bowls so that they don't die. Anyway, that's not technically Fed posting, so that's okay. Also, this is all satire. Okay, continuing on. And yes, something about Los Angeles is kind of Blade Runner 2049-like. Okay, and I think that about does it for the ats. Oh, okay, yeah, we've got one more at down here, and then I'm going to go over to my first track of the evening. Anarchist Trucker Chick says they think those people are so authentic as compared to clean-bathed white people. Yes, this is the issue. They have this weird fantasy that anything that is dirty or bad or wicked or harmful or dangerous is somehow more real or authentic, and anything that is safe is unreal. And it never ever occurs to them that they are literally putting innocent people in harm's way by doing this. Anyway. Okay, alright, one more. Easy Oven Operator says, wow, look at all these brown people. It's like being in the wild. Yeah, they're tourists. What is it? Safari. Leftists are basically creating an entire city that they regard as a safari freaking tour. Oh my god, it's reprehensible. Okay, yeah, it is so gritty. Okay, so I'm going to play the first track of the evening, and I just happen to like this track. It's a fun track for me, obviously. This one is from back in my youth, and this is more or less how I felt having completed my sticker campaign last night, and I'm looking forward to the next one, which I assume I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I will not have the energy tonight. That's all there is to it. But tomorrow I should have the energy to do so. And this track more or less sums up the experience of sort of skittering around in the dark and putting up stickers surreptitiously for Google employees to roll their eyes at. So, okay, here we are. This is Crystal Method with Cherry Twist, circa 1997. And rest in peace, eardrums, in 3, 2, 1.
More rhythm.
Okay, there you go. Freaking Crystal Method right there. That was off of their album Vegas, which was a fantastic album. Anyone that has not heard Vegas should absolutely check out that album. I would say the first 5 or 6 tracks in a row are fantastic. Every one of them, not every one of them, the majority of the first 5 tracks were singles that one would have heard on certain radio stations here in Los Angeles for a little while. And no, that one was not a single, but it's still a great track. Anyway, it's all outstanding. So let's see, there was something else that I was going to make mention of, and I forgot what it was. Let me throw in my... Oh no. I was going to put in another track, and I can't find it. Where was that other track? Oh no! Oh, that's terrible. Okay, there we are. Okay, I found the other track that I was going to play. Alright, sorry about that. I'm ridiculous. Okay, moving on. And I'm going to throw my background on, and there we go. Okay, everything's all set up now. Right, there was one other subject that I did want to broach, and I actually forgot what it was. Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to worry about that for the moment. Let's see here. The whole Alex Jones thing is still a bit of a thing. People are still freaking out about it, but I don't think much is being done. I saw that Alex Jones is on Twitter, and some leftist got really upset because Jake didn't ban Alex Jones from Twitter. And this leftist was actually like going kind of crazy over it, and it was sort of funny to watch. So for the first time in my life, I actually did subscribe to an Alex Jones thinger. In this case, it's his Twitter account, just as kind of my own little silent protest to the left, you know, a little tiny middle finger to say, hey man, whatever, I'll follow him just to spite the left. Anyway, yeah, I still think that we're going to have to start thinking about migrating off of Twitter and YouTube and all this good jazz. And when it actually finally does happen, I'm not sure where I'm going to go. I think that I'll be able to stream on Gab without too many issues. The only problem, of course, is that nothing will ever be recorded again except through OBS. So I'll have to find some way to figure out how to deal with that. And I may end up having to figure out some way of loading things to like BitChute or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't know how to deal with it. I really don't know how to deal with any of this just yet. It's kind of a bummer. So I guess I'm just going to go ahead and for now think about all of the platform migration as background chat or something that I'm going to have to think about in the future. I think we're all going to have to think about it in the future at some point. Especially given that the major media and tech companies right now, they are basically against America. They're basically against free speech, and there are, of course, a lot of arguments for free speech not being a real thing. I'm not going to move into that because I just don't have the mental capacity right now. But whatever. Anyway, yeah, we're looking at some really weird stuff coming up in the future. I think that someone was saying something about how taking down Alex Jones is a way to control the midterm elections, and I kind of see that, but I think that it's a longer term goal. I think that the longer term goal is what's important. Yeah, sure, it does affect the midterms, obviously. But who cares about the midterms? We're not talking about the midterms. We're talking about the whole freaking pie. What's the whole freaking pie? America is the whole freaking pie. So what do they want to do? They want to limit the information that Americans can consume so that they can control the country total. This is not a freaking game where you simply look 1 or 2 moves ahead. These people are playing games that look decades ahead. We should be thinking decades ahead. And in this sense, I think that the Alex Jones thing is, in some sense, not being taken seriously enough. Because, yeah, sure, of course, there's, what is it? I think Andrew Anglin was taken off, like the Daily Stormer was taken off, and I was also upset about that. Ooh. And it's just typical incrementalization, you know. They start off with Andrew Anglin, whom I don't really care about, but I was still upset to see him go, to see his website taken away, because as far as I'm concerned, once you can take away Andrew Anglin, you can take away just about anybody. That guy was what? Just, you know, I don't want to go into it too much because the net result is the same. I'm just not a fan of his. But again, it just doesn't matter, because once it goes from Andrew Anglin then to Alex Jones, leftists are now calling for having Fox News censored. And Fox News, those guys are freaking Civ Nash beta cucks in terms of what's going on in the right wing. These guys are so milquetoast, it's ridiculous. Anyway, the point is that the left, they will start devouring people that are simply, you know, to the right of Bernie Sanders. So, I mean, we're looking at some rough stuff. We're looking at some really, really rough stuff. And as far as I'm concerned, we should be defending Andrew Anglin. Not because we like Andrew Anglin, in my case, but on principle alone. Because once they start with Andrew Anglin, it goes to Alex Jones. Once Alex Jones, then Fox News. Once Fox News, we're basically talking about Pravda. We're talking about straight-ahead Soviet-style control of information. And I'm very, very distraught about that possibility. So anyway, we're gonna have to find some way to deal with that. Okay. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and look at the chat very briefly. Who we have? Toaststone saying maybe you can do do podcast on Meadow Media. I don't know anything about Meadow Media, but let me go ahead and. God, I have too many things that I should be looking into. I'm going to go ahead and look into Meadow Media. Why is it not doing it? Okay. I'm going to have to... oh, that's right. OBS doesn't allow me to do normal copy-paste. I forgot about that. Okay, here we go. Meadow Media. Oh, it says Masto. That's weird, but that's the autocorrect, but apparently it's incorrect because Meadow Media is right there. Nice. It is the simple things that are important in life. I like it. Oh, neat. There's even an entire one that says it's okay to be white. Cool. Yeah, and I really got to start that sticker campaign, because even though I'm doing the Alex Jones one right now, I think it'd be a good idea to do a sticker campaign that is devoted just to it's okay to be white. So, okay, anyway, let's go back over to the chat and see where we are. Okay, there's some interpersonal conversations going on that I'm not going to insert myself into. Eternalism is new. Let's see here. This Groip stream will self-destruct in 5 minutes. You're absolutely correct. Somehow, what do you call... everything looks like it's destructing, though I don't think it's self-destruct. I think it's artificially imposed by these retarded leftists. Okay, anyway. I am now going to get myself some cookies and banana and peanut butter because it's a little after the half-hour mark and I'm a little bit hungry, and I just happen to have a spanking new bag of cookies. So there we go. I've only had 3 bread products today. Oh no, I did have a couple of cookies earlier. That's right. So this will be my 4th bread product for the day. I'm trying to cut back on the carbs so that I can lose just a little bit of weight without having to go. I'm going to have to start moving to exercise in the very near future, but I'm going to kind of go easy on my system by reducing the carbs and upping the vegetables. So my cookie evening is sort of my little gratis to myself. So there we go. Anyway, this next track is Explorers by Lone, and I think this track was inspired by the movie Explorers from 1986 or 7. Explorers featured River Phoenix back when he was a little kid and a very young Ethan Hawke. and I think it featured, I think it had the guy who played the cop also played the guy in the movie Alien who wore the Aloha shirt. They're the two guys. It was the black guy and this sort of Sicilian looking guy. Gosh, what was his name? Not John Hurt. I forgot his name. Anyway, he was the guy that ended up getting killed by the alien when he went to go and look for the cat, and then he went into that room where there was all that condensation from what looked like a giant refrigeration unit or something, and there were all those chains dangling or whatever. And then the alien came down and killed him, and then the cat watched, and it was really creepy and whatever. Anyway, that guy played the cop in the movie Explorers, and I'm pretty sure that this track is inspired by that movie. The first half of that movie is pretty freaking cool, as little kid movies go. And the second half of that movie is absolutely retarded. I remember even as a little kid thinking to myself, that's really cool, the beginning of it. And then somewhere around the middle point, you're like, this is dumb. It's really weird. Anyway, alright. This is Explorers by Alone, circa 2011, 2012, I believe. And here we go. Rest in peace, eardrums. In 3, 2, 1... Oh man. Oh no. I had a last bite of cookie like a retard. Oh, son of a gun. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. Alright, sort of. Okay. Apparently we are all to think about what it would be like to hang out with Blackbeard for some reason. And I think that I would have a hard time because he would expect me to do things that I would probably be uncomfortable with doing, like tying knots or something, and like carrying things or whatever. And I think I would make a really bad pirate. I really think that I'd make a terrible, terrible pirate. I think I would make a much better aristocrat because I'm just sort of like this weird guy that drifts through life somehow. I don't know why, but that seems to be my general trajectory. Pirates tend to be a little more nitty-gritty. They also kind of are thieves and murderers or whatever, but outside of that, I guess it's not too bad. If you can acclimate to that, I'm pretty sure it's fine employment overall. Oh wait, no, what am I talking about? The East India Company. I forgot about that. That's right. They were just like running drugs or whatever, opium or whatever, stuff like that. Okay. Well, I guess it's not too bad, I suppose. The only issue, I guess, is the ethical consideration of you are necessarily engaging in some kind of a behavior that you know will end up ruining lives. And I suppose if you can live with that, it's not that bad, I guess. Anyway, yeah, okay, I don't want to go too far into that. The Blackbeard thing. Yeah, I think the best that I would be able to do would be to work in one of the money laundering operations or something like that. That'd be much more my speed. Something where all of the badness kind of happens over there, and I'm over here, and I never have to deal with all of that over there stuff. I think that would be about as far as I could go. I'm a wuss. I can't help it. I am actually a wuss. It's terrible. It's awful. Anyway, it's true, actually. I just realized that today when I went to... Okay, so my neighbor that I helped take... It wasn't just me. I went with her, with one other person, to go to the hospital. So I guess I helped to take her to the hospital anyway. I ended up going back to her house so that I could take care of a couple of very minor things over there while she's at hospital. And while I was on my way over, I realized that I was going well after sundown, and that just, 2 blocks away, there was that shooting at the homeless camp, and I just saw drug deals go down there. So as I was walking over to her place, I found myself lamenting that I wasn't able to carry my pistol with me. I'm so much of a wuss that I can't handle going a couple of blocks without thinking to myself, I don't know, man. Should I be going outside, man? This is a bit creepy, man. What's that guy across the street doing? Why is he wringing his hands? Did he wash his hands? Why would he wash his hands in the middle of the street? It's weird that he's wringing his hands. Is he looking at me? Why is he walking in the middle of the street? Why not on the sidewalk? These are the thoughts that go on in your head. Anyway, yeah, complete wuss. It sucks. It's awful. Okay, and I don't see any ads, so I think I'm gonna go. I've got like 1 or 2 more tracks that I kind of want to play before I hit, because I have to keep the streams as light as possible so that I can continue to try to be productive. I completely wasted a good portion of today by doing the stickering, so I was a zombie through most of the day today, and that's not cool. I shouldn't do that, but I couldn't help it. You know, you kind of want to, strike while the iron is hot, so I'm gonna go ahead and do another sticker run tomorrow night. Again, not tonight, but tomorrow night. And so I got to keep the stream light so that I can make sure to try to sleep somewhat tonight. So in the spirit of in the spirit of getting a decent sleep, I am going to play some Echo Virtual. And this track, I believe it's called Nimbus Stratus. I'm a big fan of Vaporwave, and one of my favorite Vaporwave artists is Echo Virtual. Someone described his music as basically being what you would hear on the Weather Channel, and I can't explain it, but I love it. I know it's the stupidest thing ever. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all, but I absolutely adore it. It's the weirdest thing. So anyway, this is my way of cooling down for the night. So here we are. This is Echo Virtual's track Nimbus Stratus. Rest in peace, eardrums, in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I freaking love that track. It's such a pleasant track. I don't know why I like Vaporwave so much. It's the weirdest thing. It doesn't actually make any sense. I mean, basically all they do is just take a track, stretch it out, pitch down, and then call it a day. Add a drum track or 5, and then basically they turn like smooth jazz into trap music. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know why. Anyway, okay. So it's 11:51. I didn't actually read any Nietzsche. Since I'm thinking about it, I do want to go ahead and stick with reading some Nietzsche, so I'm going to go with number 4, and number 4 just happens to be, or I'm sorry, number 5, my apologies. Number 5 just happens to be 2 lines, which is great. So here we are. Here are 2 lines from Nietzsche. Here we go. Alright, this is entitled To the Virtuous, and I'll just go ahead and read it. Okay, line number 1.
Why should our virtues be grave? We like ours nimble-footed. Even like Homer's verse, they have to come and go. I like that. He likes his virtues nimble-footed. That is to say, they may be mutable when the context calls. So if you're... this is sort of a sideways glance, in my view, to the problem of being a hyper-permissive liberal. So many of them, they are so permissive, and they're so understanding and generous that without realizing it, they allow themselves to be taken advantage of, and they create situations that end up infinitely worse than what they were trying to overcome with their understanding. So yes, I think the idea of it being nimble-footed, their virtues being nimble-footed, virtues that are able to come and go, I think this is a very good concept, and I think that this is where a lot of Generation Z is right now. Hashtag not all, but there's a fair amount of Generation Z that is naturally red-pilled with regards to race realism because they've had no choice. They simply understand it. Fact of the matter is, today when I went into the hospital and I took a quick census of all of the people around me, I started noticing things. It was the weirdest thing. I remember hearing about this guy. He was saying something about how, this is way back in the 1800s or something, I think. And this guy was describing he was some kind of a white fellow that spent time in Africa, and he was describing them, and he said something to the effect, he referred to them as being indolent, and I concur. If you're around them the way that I am, that's pretty much the case. And in the hospital, I just noticed the behavior patterns. It was the weirdest thing. And another one that I thought was very weird was that a woman and her husband and child all entered the hospital, all black. They entered the hospital, and the woman had very long shins and was slightly knock-kneed. And she had a particular way of walking that I've seen 1,000 times from black people. And some minutes later, I think 5 minutes later, a young girl, she couldn't have been more than 13 or 14 or something, she came in with exactly the same long shins and slight knock-knee, and she walked in precisely the same manner. These two people were clearly unrelated, and yet they were identical in terms of their gait. It was the strangest thing to notice. There is a lot to be said for noticing phenotypes are real, number one. Number two, there are patterns on a net level. Individually, of course, there are huge variances within populations, obviously, but you will tend to notice general trends and patterns over time. And I can't help but think, me living in Los Angeles, I spent the majority of my youth trying to ignore all of the race realism, and now that it's basically made itself very visible in my head, I can't help but notice, and I honestly think that there are a large number of younger people where they're in the same boat. And I think that as where I have to keep in mind that my virtues ought to be able to leave, my permissiveness needs to be able to be put in check when I am faced with a population of people who do not like me. As we all know, blacks freaking loathe whites. They despise us. And I do find myself just sort of being on my toes because I just don't want to get smacked. I've seen enough instances of black people abusing whites that, the vast majority of the time it's going to be a complete non-issue, obviously. But you never know when you're going to hit that 1 in 1,000 where, for whatever reason, and even then, the person is probably just going to call you names, roll their eyes, and it's going to be about as far as it goes. But what if you hit that 1 in 100,000 or that 1 in a million where the person acts out violently, physically violently? Yeah, I think you have no choice but to you have to allow, in my case, you have to allow your virtues to pass by once in a while. when the situation calls for it. So at any rate, yeah, I guess that's about it for the stream. Again, I gotta keep it slim. I gotta keep it as trim as possible so that I can get my sleep, so that I can be sure to get my projects completed. So at any rate, I'm going to call the stream, because this is absolutely the correct time to do so. And I thank everyone for stopping by. And yeah, exactly, this is definitely small stream. This is absolutely small stream. I kind of miss when I was doing the longer 1.5 and 2 hour streams, but alas, I have to try to be responsible. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be as responsible as possible. So there we go. Hopefully Julian Groiper will go ahead and start some streams. Wink, wink, nod, nod, Julian Groiper. And in the meantime, rule number 1, always treat every firearm like it's loaded. Rule number 2, never cover or sweep anything you are not willing to destroy. Rule number 3, your finger stays off of the trigger until your sights are on target. And the 4th and final rule is be aware of your target and what's beyond it. Safety first. It's very important that you treat your firearms with respect, because if you do not, you could have an accident. And if you have a negligent discharge, there is the outside chance that you could hit something that's important. That important thing could be you, or it could be your cat or dog, or it could be some other human being. So be careful. So there we are. Yeah, do remember to brush and floss your teeth, and there we go. I guess that's the long and the short of it. Let's see here. Toast Stone says, making us proud. Be safe out there with those posters. Yes, we will absolutely. By we, I mean me. And hopefully there will be others. Hopefully this we will include more than just little old me. So let's just see how that works out. Okay, guys. I am going to... I don't see Julian Groiper posting his stream, so I'm going to check real fast to see what's going on, see where he is. Because I just want to see if he's actually, let's see here, if he has anything at all. I don't see anything on his channel for a pending stream. So what I might do is I might just go ahead and play an album and leave it up. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play an album and I'm just going to leave the album up. And when some... Oh, there we are. Julian Groiper now has his stream up and going. So there we are. Okay. Well, that being the case, I'm going to call the stream. And there we are. Situation handled. Outro music in 3, 2, 1.